Dear Renee, expect you've seen the list of casualties long before this reaches you, and notice that yours truly got in the way of a bullet. Couldn't help it, really. Didn't see it coming, to tell you the truth. We advanced in open formation a mile or so forward across deserted fields of grain and open green spaces covered with glorious wildflowers, poppies, buttercups, marguerites. The picture only being marred in places by a dead body here and there. We had seen so many of these that we passed by them without comment of any sort, except to remark that it was high time they were buried. Before we'd left the shelter of the bed of the creek, a chap alongside me, sitting on a bit of dirt, suddenly fell forward without a sound into the water. Poor bugger. He'd got a stray bullet through his head. Must have lifted myself up a little from the ground in doing so, for in about 3 seconds I felt as if someone had thrown the Melbourne Town Hall at me and hit me in the shoulder and back. The force of the hit pinned me face down in the ground, stunned me for a few moments, and then when I lifted my head, blood gushed out of my mouth in a stream. My first thought was not a home, or loved ones, curiously enough, but a sort of peaceful feeling came over me, and the thought ran through my mind: how easy it is to die. The chap on my right turned me over on my back and took off my wet equipment, meanwhile assuring me that he couldn't see any blood on the back of my tunic, so I knew then it was a bullet and that it had come in the front and gone out the back. The blood had stopped coming out in a stream now, and I was only coughing it up, but the stunned feeling had passed and it began to be painful somewhat. By this time, I'd given up the idea of dying, and I thought if I could get back to the cover of the trenches, I'd get my wound dressed and it might be more comfortable than my present position. I had a small round hole about as big as a lead pencil in diameter on my left shoulder, and a bigger one at the back of the shoulder blade. By this time, the sun was just setting, and the blood-red rays tinged the faces of the dead who turned their faces to the sky for the last time. A little group round a wounded man, doctors and a couple of orderlies, the temporary blood-soaked bandages tenderly unwrapped, and the light of an electric torch on the wound, and you're turned away with a taste in your mouth. One gets used to seeing blood, but when you see some of the wounds caused by the soft-nosed bullets which those inhuman devils used, you taste blood and long to avenge your fallen comrades with the point of the bayonet. We'll just ask you here, in case you see any of my people, don't let them read this, as the descriptions might be too detailed for them. We'll be getting back to the field again soon, so that letter writing on my part will be at an end, though not permanently, I hope. And we'll look forward to more of your letters. With best wishes and regards from your old pal, Bert. Don't tell any of my people I wrote you so much.